Hey, Audie. How are you? Yeehaw! We having fun yet? I'm sorry. It's cold here. It's cold here. I'm a little bit early, so maybe why Vincey's not here yet. Trying to invite some people that I think might show up. I don't know though. Jackie will be here in a minute. Nope. Don't want no more rain. I don't. Who the heck is Joshua Moore? Who are these people on my list? I don't know who these people are. What about Raven? Can I invite her? I ain't seen her in a while. Cray. Bitsy Lou Who, how are you? Love read tonight. She'll go, what? What? Y'all go find some people. Get online and go invite some people. Remember that person that wants me to do a live read and I'm not sure about it? I never got back to her. Oops, I totally forgot. Yeah, that's what I said. Oops, I literally just saw her name and was like, hey. Oh, crap. Somebody holler at Teddy. Let him know. I only got 15 different profiles for him. I don't even know which one's the right one anymore. It's Jackie's in the house. Life is good now, y'all. We can go on about living. Jackie's here. What's going on, Sister Roo? Sister Roo who? How are you? Trying to tuck on my... Smack her around. That's what I have to do every now and then. Just smack her around. You know me, I have a hard time with YouTube anyway. I have a hard time anything outside my norm. Oh, shit. Apparently, I must be drinking something besides tea because I totally read that wrong. I thought you said edging a book and drinking a beer. The fuck did I get edging? Besides in my dreams. It's Nina's fault. I blame her. Give me all the O's. Exactly. Just what you said. Just what you said. Actually, it's her mini me that's doing that lately. Shit, that child. She's scaring the bejeebies out of me lately. She's inviting people. I told her, I said, go invite a bunch of people. She's getting ready for a takeover too, I think. The only thing I don't like about sitting here in my chair is this. If I start a GoFundMe page for a chin tuck, would you guys donate? Yeah, hot flash kit. It's Carly Davis, darling. That's why I invited you. Carly. It is called Dirty Secrets. And I'm reading chapters 5, 6, and 7 per Carly's request. So you know it's going to be good. I know you do. I know you do. I've been inviting all my hoes. Did anybody invite Teddy? She's not really. You know Orderly's Nina, right? You should know this by now. Yeah, there she is. Nina, where's Carden? If I do this, will it help? Is that like an exercise? Ah, that's worse than doing a blowjob. I want it won't get off. Y'all about ready? I don't have a cover. You have to go to the group and see what Nina showed up for a cover because I have no idea what the cover looks like. I'm guessing, imagine two men and a woman. Ah! Well, that's okay. I remembered somebody I was supposed to return a reply to, and I didn't, and I forgot about it. And I just, as I was scanning down through there to text you guys, I saw her name, but it's too late now. It's okay. All right, y'all about ready? I've been on here for 12 freaking minutes waiting on everybody. Neener Beaner, I'm a going without Carly. All right, y'all, it's called Dirty Secrets. It is a crash and burn novella. It's in pre-order right now. So, if you need the link, you'll have to get with Nina. Damn, sometimes you just need the heat. Sometimes you don't want the heat. Sometimes you need that heat. I got you. So this is about Max, Paul, and Stella. And I'm going to be starting on chapter 5. So let's get her going. Max's point of view. Nothing hurt worse than seeing her in pain. Her racked sobs tore a hole in my heart. I should have done worse to Paul. He'd get his soon. He would know what it was like to feel pain. Don't go, Stella whispered. I don't want to leave you, but I have to. You know I can't be here when your parents come back home. Tell you what, meet me down at the lake tomorrow. We'll spend the evening together. I leaned down and kissed her lips. Get some rest, beautiful. Stella grasped my wrist, and fear was evident in her eyes, in her ears, y'all. There's fear in her ears. Please, I don't want to be alone. You're the only thing that makes me feel safe. Stella, if anyone sees us together, I don't care anymore. Take me with you. I sighed. Okay, sugar. Come on, we'll go to my house and get something to eat. I drove to my house and parked my bike in the backyard. This was risky. If anyone saw my bike out front, they'd come straight to my house if Stella was missing. Stella bit her lip as I took her by the hand. I pulled her forward and wrapped one arm around her waist. I loved holding her in my arms, and the way she bit her lip had me wanting to show her the dominant side of me. I couldn't, though, not yet. Leave Paul. Better yet, give me that damn ring and I'll deliver it to him along with the news you're no longer his. I can't. Stella, you're killing me here. It breaks my heart knowing you're engaged to a monster. Max, please just drop it. I'm here with you now. That's all that matters. I took her inside and pulled her into my room. When she was this close to me, I felt like I couldn't breathe. Her scent, it drove me wild. The way her body felt against me, it made me want to push her against the wall and devour her. Oh, fuck. Someone better call 911. Daddy mode is going to activate if she keeps looking at me like she wants to eat me up. Keep looking at me like that, and I'll have to claim you as mine and lock you in my room for all eternity. Claim me, Max. My lips brushed against hers and did as she said. I captured the princess and took what I wanted. I groaned as her body pressed against my chest. I slid my hands down and palmed her ass cheeks. She moaned as I deepened the kiss, our tongues colliding. Fire burned deep inside me. Before it got out of control, I pulled away and took a breath. Calm down, Max. She's delicate, fragile. Please, Max, she whispered. I want you to take me now. Not tonight. She frowned. You don't want me? On the contrary, Princess, I do want you. I want you more than you know. I cupped her cheek. But I don't want to hurt you. Not like him. I trust you. I know you do, but that's not the problem. The problem is I don't trust myself when you're this close to me. Daddy wants to come out and play. She licked her lips and wrapped her arms around my waist. Then let him. I want to see Daddy. Sugar, I groaned, pressing my forehead against hers. I don't think you know what you're asking for. When Daddy comes out, he won't stop until you're screaming his name. I want that, Daddy. I took each of her wrists and held them between our bodies. Her fingers brushed against the zipper of my pants, and fuck me, my dick screamed at me. Take her now. She wants Daddy to take control. Once I start, there's no going back, sugar. Daddy will take what he wants, and he will make you his, I growled. Take what you want. Make me yours, Daddy. She was trembling, but she wasn't afraid. She was never frightened of me. Why, I haven't a clue, but I love that I made her feel safe, protected, and that's just what I would do. I picked her up and carried her to the bed, laying her on it. Leaning over her, my eyes roamed her body. My hands grasped her thighs and spread them. Stella parted her lips as I reached under her dress. I inched my fingers up to the most intimate part of her. No one was here to stop me. Not Paul. Not his asshole friends. No fucking body. Paul may be the one who stole her innocence, but me, I'd be the first who claimed her body as mine. I was her first real kiss, the very first one to make love to her. I would be bound and determined to be her first love. She might say her vows and promise forever with Paul, but that would be nothing but a lie. Her heart would always belong to me. You tell me if I'm hurting you, Angel. I don't want to hurt you. I won't be him, I told her. I stood up and stripped my shirt off. I never leave I never leave her eyes as I take my boots off and my pants. She glanced at my cock straining against my underwear and swallowed hard. She sat up in bed and pulled her dress over her head, throwing it on the floor. I've never been one to bring a woman back to my home to fuck her. Never had a woman in my bed. This was different. She was special. My angel looked like she belonged here at my mercy. Her fingers trembled as she unclipped her bra at the front and discarded it. She went to take her panties off, but I grabbed each of her wrists and held them at her sides. Not yet. Daddy wants to admire his baby girl. You're so big, she whispered. Relax and let Daddy take care of you. Be my good little girl. You'll be my good girl, right? Yes, I'll always, I'm always ready to be your good girl. Chapter 6. As I slid into her, she threw her head back and moaned my name softly. It felt damn good to bring pleasure to my broken angel. She thinks I'm the good guy in the story, that I was sent to save her. I wasn't. I was the complete opposite. I was just too selfish to give her up. I wanted her all to myself. The dark prince has was more the dark prince was more than ready to take what rightfully belonged to him. Stella squeezed my cock and fuck me, I wanted to explode. The truth, I wanted to fill her up with my cum until she had my seed growing inside her belly. Then she'd truly be property of Max Spelling. She cried out my name. It did nothing but fuel my beast. That's right, Sugar. Tell me who this pussy belongs to. Who owns you, Sugar? I groaned. You, she gasped. I belong to you. If she wanted it hard, I'd give it to her real good, deep, full of my cock. And if she wanted vanilla, I could give her that too. Her nails dug into my back as I thrust inside her over and over. Sweat beaded on my forehead, my breaths rapid and ragged. I pinched my eyes closed and groaned, tilting my head back. She raked her nails down my back as I pulled back and thrust again. Stella cried my name and held on to me for dear life. Come for me, Angel. And she did. She milked my cock. Every last drop. I filled her full of my seed and prayed to God that she would be carrying my child soon. And fate fucked with me again. Hours later, I took her back home and tucked her into bed. I knew it would only be a matter of time till Paul came looking for me. And when he did, I'd be ready for him. I'd taunt him, but I wouldn't say a word about how I made love to his fiancée. That'd be our little secret, mine and Stella's. I waited and waited. Still, Paul never came. I wonder why he was stalling. Then I knew why Stella came to her spot came to our spot by the lake a few days later. Dread filled me as she walked towards me. She had on a pair of sweats and a baggy hoodie. I couldn't see her face. That's when I knew Paul had done it again. He'd put his hands on her, hurt her again. Max, Stella whispered. I could tell by the crack in her voice she'd been crying. I took a step forward and pulled the hood away from her face. There were a few bruises, but they weren't new ones. I couldn't figure it out. Not until she spoke. Max, this. She sniffed. I can't be friends with you anymore. I'm sorry. Stella, no. Please don't go through with this, I begged. I have to, came her reply. Why? Why would you marry such a bastard? What's he got on you? I growled lowly. I will never forget you, Max Spellin. Never forget how you made me feel. Always remember that. Don't you dare do this, Stella. Just don't. I know you, the real you. Let me take you away from this. We can run away and live in peace. Tears ran down her face as she shook her head. I'm sorry I dragged you into this. It wasn't until I glanced down to her hand that I realized why Paul had sent her. The motherfucker had been a step forward the whole damn time. With her engagement ring was a gold band. No, I whispered. Ah, what have you done, Angel? She averted her gaze and looked at the ground. I'm sorry. That's not why I'm here. I wanted to see you one last time. This is Paul's payback for him going to jail, to throw you in my face, to show me you'll never be mine, I scoffed. He may have popped your cherry, but he'll never have what I have. And what's that? Your heart. I was your first real kiss and the one who made love to you for the first time. He'll never get that back. Never, Sugar. I'm the one who caught you each time you fell, and it won't be the last. I'm sorry, she whispered. You should go. I brushed her off. Max. You're a married woman now. I'm only assuming you've moved in with your husband by now. I turned my head and held back my anger. I wouldn't be like Paul and hurt her. I couldn't do that to her. I felt her lips brush against mine and kiss me. I didn't respond. She pulled back and I met her tearful eyes. It would be easier this way because if I kissed her back, I didn't plan on stopping. I didn't need a kidnapping charge on my record. That's exactly what I'd do if I claimed her body again. You didn't kiss me back, she murmured. I can't, sugar. Not when I know you're going back to your new husband. I won't be the other guy. Just know this. I love you, and I'll never stop loving you, baby girl. Daddy will always remember our time together. Chapter 7. Stella. Paul smirked against my lips and tightened his grip on me. He pulled away and glanced behind me, throwing someone a shit-eating grin. I knew who it was. In my gut, I just knew it was Max. I could feel him staring at me. His cologne invaded me, made me weak, vulnerable. Something wrong spelling? Paul taunted. Come on, Stella. It's time to go. Your husband wants to go home and make love to you. Sorry, she gave me a copy that's not been edited yet, so I'm kind of having to edit as I go. And the man, okay. Oh, yeah. Now, let's see. Oh, yeah. Now I know why I love this dress on you. Paul held me by the hips and pulled me to his chest. I turned my head only to have him slam me against the kitchen table and twist my body around. Paul, please, I cried. You're hurting me. Trevor and Aubrey aren't here to save you, baby. You can't use them as an excuse to not have sex. Paul whispered softly as he pulled my dress up. I squeezed my eyes shut and tried to imagine it was Max touching me. Just as he was about to spread my thighs, I heard a knock. I may have been saved from Paul's wrath, but the nightmare was just beginning. Paul said he invited his friends. Nothing could save me, and no one would be coming to rescue me. I just had to get through the night, and all would be fine. At least, I hoped it would be. Paul returned with his friend. I think his name is Gregory. Paul leaned into Gregory's ear and whispered something. Gregory's eyes lit up and licked his lips, looking me up and down. I froze at my husband's words. How would you like to have a how would you like to be a hot wife for the night? Paul led me to the living room with Gregory trailing behind us. I froze in my tracks when I saw the video camera on the tripod. No, I won't do it, I whispered. You will do you will do everything we tell you to do or else, Paul threatened. Or else what? I challenged him. Paul shoved me down on the couch and gripped my chin harshly. Or else my other friends are going to torch Max's precious garage. One phone call is all it will take to crush his dreams. You don't want that, do you? Tears fell down my cheeks as I shook my head. Good. We're going to have a little fun with you. Use each and every hole until you're begging us to stop. Paul glanced back at Gregory. Press the button. It's time to make a movie. I couldn't breathe. It felt like I'd been kicked in the gut. The entire night, I let them use me, turn me into their whore. All I could think of was saving Max the heartache of losing his garage. Because if Max and his boys was in there, they could be hurt. Or worse, killed. All because I was the cause of this. The next morning, I could barely move. My entire body was on fire. A few times, I'd fought them. In the end, I paid for it. I finally found the courage to get out of bed and force myself to look in the mirror. I let out a sob as I looked at the image. Last night, Paul had officially broken me. My lips were puffy and I had a black eye. I was almost sure that my ribs were broken too. My hand wrapped around my throat and let my tears fall. Gregory choked me while he and Paul took turns tag teaming me. I'm sorry, I apologized. I prayed that Paul had kept his word and left Max alone. Something in me snapped. Suddenly, I was angry at my parents, myself. If only I let Max take me away from the devil, ran away from my parents, and lived the rest of my life with Max, had my happily ever after. I sighed in relief when I searched the house to see it empty. I quickly dressed and put on a hoodie with one thing in mind. I had to see him. I had to know he was okay, that his family was okay. I walked since his garage was only 10 minutes away. It would be easier this way, less chance of being seen. I stood in front of the garage and took a deep breath. Just as I opened the door, Max looked up from his desk and furrowed his eyebrows. Stella? Max, I just had to know you were okay. What are you talking about? Max asked me as he stood up and walked towards me. I have to go. He took me by the hand gently and pulled me aside. What are you doing here, Stella? I'm sorry. I shouldn't have come. I tried to pull away, only to have him wrap his arm around my waist and release my wrist. Slowly, he pulled the hood away from my face and whispered, Sugar, what has he done to you? 5 years later. Regret, shame. Those were the things I felt now. I wiped my tears as I thought about Max. Our love story was over before it ever even began. I have my life now. Max has his. If I could go back in time, I would in a heartbeat. Max tried to get me out to be my hero. Fate had other plans. Back then, I thought I'd seen the worst of Paul. I was so wrong. He was the spitting image of the damn ugly devil. Mrs. Anders, good afternoon. A woman smiled at me. It was Kalina Martinez, the woman who owned the beauty salon. Afternoon, I replied. Will I be seeing you at the 4th of July blowout? She asked. I frowned and shook my head. I'm afraid not this year. Little Trevor isn't feeling well. The lie seemed so natural. I was used to hiding the truth from everyone. If only they knew just how twisted Paul actually was. A corrupt preacher. Paul didn't want me going. He didn't want me to be around Max. The last time, I shuddered at the memory. Let's just say I paid dearly for allowing Max to help me with the groceries to the car, 2 broken ribs and a fractured wrist, plus a visit to the emergency room. Are you cold, dear? No, I'm fine, just a chill. I hope you're not coming down with what Trevor has. No, I'm fine. I hate to run, but I really must be going. Of course, dear. I'll be praying for little Trevor. Please pray for me too. Kalina walked away and got into her car. When she pulled out of the parking lot, a firm hand grabbed my hand and whispered in my ear, I almost believed the lie myself, my darling wife. I closed my eyes and sighed. What do you want? His grip tightened, causing me to wince. I gritted my teeth and opened my eyes to look the devil in the eyes. Watch it, Mrs. Anders. We don't want a repeat of last night, do we? No, I stuttered. You know I love you, but I have rules. I hate punishing you for being a bad girl. Yeah, right. He loved to put his hands on me. I know, I whispered. Paul narrowed his eyes. I said I love you, Stella. Say it back. I love you too, Paul. Liar. I was going to hell. I didn't love him. Who could love a monster like him? He twisted my body and cut my cheek firmly, pulling me close. Much better. Tonight my friends are coming over. I shivered. I hated when his friends came over. They always found some way to accidentally touch me. Paul knew it but never stopped them or called them on it. In fact, he encourages it, laughs at me when they find something to say about my body. Make sure you wear that cute little red dress. No, anything but that dress. I forced a smile. Of course. Your mother is keeping Trevor and Aubrey for the rest of the night. In fact, I just dropped them off. Or, your mother is keeping Trevor and Aubrey for the rest of the night. In fact, I just dropped them off. What? Tonight, you and we're going to have so much fun together. I have so much in store for my trophy wife. God, no. His rough lips crushed against my mouth. Nothing about it was gentle. I knew exactly what this was. It was to lay his claim on me, just in case Max was watching, to show ownership over me. All I wanted to do was pull away, get as far away from him as I could. He was bigger and stronger. There was no way I'd get away. Paul would never be him, though. Max Spelling, my hero. Paul smirked against my lips and tightened his grip on me. He pulled away and glanced behind me, throwing someone a shit eating grin. I knew who it was. In my gut, I just knew it was Max. I could feel him staring at me. His cologne invaded me, made me weak, vulnerable. Something wrong, Spelling? Paul taunted. I thought I smelled raw sewage, Max hissed. Come on, Stella. Time to go. Your husband wants to go home and make love to his wife. Not make love. More like fuck me like a whore. There's only one man that's done that. And that man is none other than Max Spelling, the one I let get away. Oh, yeah, now I know why I love this dress on you. Paul held me by the hips and pulled me to his chest. I turned my head, only to have him slam me against the kitchen table and twist my body around. Sorry, see, like I said, it's kind of it hasn't been quite edited yet. Please, Paul, you're hurting me, I cried. Trevor and Aubrey aren't here to save you, baby. You can't use them as an excuse to not have sex. Paul whispered softly as he pulled my dress up. I squeezed my eyes shut and tried to imagine it was Max touching me. Just as he was about to spread my thighs, I heard a knock. I may have been saved from Paul's wrath, but the nightmare was just beginning. Paul said he invited his friends. Nothing could save me, and no one would be coming to rescue me. I just had to get through the night, and I would be fine. At least I hoped it would be. Paul returned with his friend. I think his name is Gregory. Paul leaned into Gregory's ear and whispered something. Gregory's eyes lit up and licked his lips, looking me up and down. I froze at my husband's next word. How would you like to be a hot wife for the night? Paul led me to the living room with Gregory trailing behind us. I froze in my tracks when I saw the video camera on the tripod. No, I won't do it, I whispered. You will do everything we tell you to do, or else, Paul threatened. Or else what? I challenged him. Paul shoved me down on the couch and gripped my chin harshly. Or else my other friends are going to torch Max's precious garage. One phone call is all it will take to crush his dreams. You don't want that, do you? Tears fell down my cheeks as I shook my head. Good. We're going to have a little fun with you. Use each and every hole until you're begging us to stop. Paul glanced back at Gregory. Press the button. It's time to make a movie. I couldn't breathe. It felt like I'd been kicked in the gut. The entire night, I let them use me, turn me into their whore. All I could think of was saving Max the heartache of losing his garage. Because if Max and his boys was in there, they could be hurt, or worse, killed. And because I was the cause of it. Okay, she just kind of repeated a bunch of stuff. So, what you guys think? That's all you're getting tonight. So sorry, so sad. I read everything she told me to read. I'll read the prologue for you. Max. Stella, no, I whispered. What has he done to you, Angel? I took a step closer, wrapped my arms around her shoulders. The tears burned, but I held them back. I couldn't stand it. My beautiful angel was battered and bruised. This is the prologue. Don't talk, just hold me, Max. I could hear the quiver in her voice. I've never felt so weak in my life. Shh, sweetheart. Everything's going to be okay, I promised her. But would it? Could I save Stella from another beating from her husband? I held the love of my life as her sobs ripped me apart. I blinked to fight the tears threatening to fall. I was powerless when Stella was breaking. There was nothing I could do but comfort her. I tried so hard to keep her from getting hurt, but in the end, our world went to shit. Stella and I strayed. We both fell apart and lived our own lives. I knew we were doomed from the start. This was no fairy tale that was meant to be in happily ever after. Let me help you. Come with me. I can take you out of this hell. You, me, our children. We can be a family together. I, I can't, she hiccuped. Paul would find me. He always finds me. I pulled one arm away and cupped the side of her face, the side that had been bruised. More tears streamed down her face as I forced her to look at me in the eyes. Another tear fell, but I quickly wiped it away. Stella, please. I was begging her with all I had. I'm sorry, Max, Stella whispered. Why are you apologizing? You're the one who got hurt. He knows. I kissed her and closed my eyes. The damage had been done. All I could do now was live with the fact my angel would never be the same. So I did what I could to help her. Come away with me. She shook her head and left me standing at our special place with my heart in her hand, shattering me completely. Ta-da! That's all you're getting. Seriously, that's it. So there you go. I know it's good, right? I need to read the Crash and Burn series. Whew, I haven't read the series yet. I keep waiting for the box set. I just bought one of her box sets. I gotta get down and read all them. Nina, you need so much shit, sister. It ain't even funny. You a mess. So, is there a link you can post for anybody that's wanting the book, or is it so you don't have it yet? Yeah, I have a feeling this book, if I read it from the beginning, it would probably make me cry. So, alrighty then, ladies. Have a good weekend. Behave yourselves. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Stay warm. Because pretty much everybody except Nina is, well, yeah, pretty much everybody's in cold weather right now. Jackie, are you get ready to get hit with that snowstorm? Is it gonna pass you? I don't even know which direction it's going. I just know that poor old Oklahoma got slammed. So, all right, ladies, have a good weekend and go read a book. And I'll holler at you later. Happy reading.